Alrighty, everyone. Welcome back to CIO Insight here on the PulseNetwork.com. I am Tyler Pyron. It's time to, talk about what's coming up. I know you didn't quite understand what I was talking about before the break, but what's coming up? What are some of the events that you need to be aware of? If not attend, at least know a little bit more about. So, Eric, we're going to go ahead and let's kind of delve into this. We've got three different events that we're going to be talking about right now. The first one, digital infrastructure priorities going on November 3rd. What is this one all about?
That sounds like tomorrow.
I was going to say, I think that date is
well,
tomorrow,
I tried to pick a couple different ones this time so this one is one of those. It's a Ziff Davis enterprise event. It's one of those digital universities that starts I don't know, 9 in the morning and goes to 2 or 3 in the afternoon. It sort of mimics going around to booths and getting information and actually going into halls and getting lectures and information about particular topics. So this one is clearly the world of trying to create a digital infrastructure. Big issue right now in terms of what people are trying to do. And this is a way for people to address it and trying to get a little more information in terms of what's going on. We had some of the guys from eWeek Labs are going to be there talking about some of the new products, the new services. There'll be some business reasoning behind it. There'll be a return on investment piece. And I really encourage people to attend these types of digital events, not just because it's ours, but anyone. If you really can block out a little time, maybe you can't travel, maybe you want to watch it when it's happening, maybe you want to pick it up a little bit later and watch it, but there's a lot of information out there in these types of events, and they're worth attending.
Yeah, I think that's the one beauty about the digital events. It does allow you to do that. It does have that flexibility. You're not necessarily locked into those specific times, really.
Yeah, and I think we've all got, you've done enough of these, I've done enough. We've gotten smarter about the way you present information, how it's different when you do it digitally over the web versus, it's not just a camera pointing at someone on a stage anymore. So you're actually able to distribute the materials, hand out the information, provide downloads, and again, have it archived so you can go to it a little bit later. I think this is, the last couple of years, been sort of experimenting with the best ways to make this work. And as I said, I'd advise anyone to jump into a couple of these because you're really going to be surprised how the technology has advanced over the last year or two on this.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing for sure. So, all right, the next one that we're going to go ahead and talk about, we're going to be discussing the Blade Insights Summit. So, I know all this one. First we had one of your events.
Well, we did one of ours, now we do one of yours.
Yeah, exactly.
And a Blade computing, when it first came out, was a big change. You had these big boxes in the data centers.
Yeah.
Then they became these sort of thin blades, and now they're getting thinner still. We talked a little bit earlier about that the Hewlett-Packard project, trying to get really low-power microprocessors in the data centers. This technology continues to evolve faster and faster and faster. It's not the same information you'd get a couple years ago. This is really thinking about how you're going to build your data centers and what a Blade system has become. This is a 2-day event, I think, in Boston, right?
Yep,
over at
absolutely.
the Harvard Club.
At the Harvard Club. It's the Harvard
Great
Club,
venue,
folks.
by the way.
It really is. Now, the one thing I've been discussing with everybody, we've been kind of, prequeling what's going to be coming up at the summit itself. And a lot of people, it seems to be on the topic that's on everyone's mind is cut down on power, get rid of that carbon footprint, and it's all about green IT this year, it seems.
Well, I think green IT has come back.
Yeah.
It was a big deal. Then you had the economic recession and no one cared.
No one cared. Said, all right, I don't care. We're not spending money on that.
And now people are going back saying, okay, the technology's advanced. We are concerned about costs in the data center. In the beginning, people didn't even know how much they were spending on a data center. Now they do. So now they're looking at how can we make these more efficient? How do we cut down on the footprint? And what are the new technologies that we can really bring into a data center to have it evolve along with us? And as I said, it's a totally different world than even 2 or 3 years ago in terms of the technologies you can use. So there's a lot of information that's going to be available. So yeah, people should
well, just saying that, I was kind of chuckling because we've had several interviews with folks that are going to be attending, going to be presenting there. And, some of the series of questions we've been really asking everybody is, okay, that's what has happened, 10, 12 years ago. Here's what's going on now. what is going to happen in 10, 12 years from now? And everybody seems to kind of do the same thing. 10, 12 years from now, we're focused in on 3 years from now. 10
Yeah.
years from now is a long ways away when we're discussing something like this. So it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a fun event.
That'll be a great one. Yeah, no, that'll be a great one.
All right, the last one we're going to go ahead and talk about is the Wounded Warrior Hiring and Support Conference, November 9th and 10th in Vienna, Virginia. Oh, tell me about this one a little bit.
Yeah, this one's put on by the Department of the Navy, and it came along, as I said, I really try to look at lots of events. And
Yeah.
It's with the end of the recession, hiring starting to take place. You also have the end of a war. It will be out of
Yeah.
Iraq by the end of the year. And so you want employees who, as we talked about before, innovative,
Yep.
who can deal with adversity, who can handle pressure. You know, this is a pretty good group of people
Yeah.
in their category. And I really think it's a great shift to see organizations start to think about how to help people get back into society. Plus, it's also the type of people, the people that we need to come in. And so these conferences, I think, are really an opportunity to sort of look at that, bringing that whole mix back in, and in particular, how can all fit within the technology sphere.
Yeah.
A lot
I think
of
it's
people-
almost an untapped resource because I don't think people really think of it that way.
No, and honestly, there's a lot of people retiring out
Yeah.
of the IT sphere. They're looking for new people to come in. And as I said, you want people who can deal with adversity, who can be innovative, think on their feet. Yeah, well, this is probably a pretty good group for that.
Yeah, I think you've got the right group for that. Eric, another show coming to a close.
There we
Great
go.
stuff. Great stuff as always, Eric.
Yeah, that was fun.
Great show. All right, guys, that'll do it for us today here on CIO Insight. For Eric Lundquist, for Ashley Daly, for Jason Brooks, for Susan Nunziata, I am Tyler Pyburn. That'll do it. We'll see you guys next time here on the Pulse Network, thepulsenetwork.com.